What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What up? What's good, everybody? Sixth element of hip hop. I'm your host, Reno Noir, and this is your co-host, Stu Dog. What's good, Stu?
What up? Taking care of some technical difficulties right now. I'll be videoized in 1 second.
Oh, bet. Yeah, man. It's a lot going on. It's a lot up right now. It's a lot happening. Everybody's blown away by the news that we got San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend, that not only is it confirmed that the beloved villain that is plastered upon my walls and many figures and statues abound, and that whole top row is nothing but Doom Comics. That's my guy. And so we find out that he's definitely the big bad of the Avengers and not Kang. I mean, that alone, like, remember how disappointed that we were about Kang and it not being Doom and it being Kang, and oh man, and just in a perfect world, like, man, imagine, wouldn't it have been dope if fucking Doom was instead of Kang? And then fucking look what happened. We couldn't have fucking predicted this. I mean, this is crazy. There's no way to predict it. You got Jonathan Majors getting for lack of a better term, fired for some bullshit, regardless of your feelings on the situation. The charge that he was charged with was nonsense, and what happened to him was fuckery. Robert Downey Jr. has hella fucking charges, hella drug charges, hella of arrests. So it's a silly, but it all worked out.
Jeremy Renner. Don't forget Jeremy Renner.
Oh yeah.
Has charges, threatened to kill his family, his wife, and himself, held him hostage. Not only does he have hostage charges, he also said he did it. Went to court. I did it. Yep. 100%. Admitted to it.
Yep.
Still got a job.
Makes you wonder what a company like Disney, who refuses to hire white males, they're super woke, but this is what they do to a black man and let the white man slide. That's hella crazy. Let's cut the black guy off the poster to appease China because we're so fucking down. We're so fucking woke. Woke joke. Salute, Slade. What up? Stu Dog is busy working on his camera. You know it. That's what they do. But like I said, it ended up being, for comic fans, for fans of Doom anyway, it ended up working out. Now, the next big news, obviously, is that Doom not only is the big bad over the Avengers, the two Avengers movies, and will be I'll get it, but also he's being played by none other than Robert Downey Jr., who famously started the MCU as Tony Stark Iron Man. But yeah, Jonathan Majors, his personal life has nothing to do with the movie. We need to take it back to the 80s. You know what I mean? When you could do what you want in your private life, and as long as you weren't killing and raping people, you pretty much, you got labeled as a bad boy.
Had a job. Yeah.
Labeled a bad boy or whatever in the 80s. Remember Sean Penn? He was a bad guy, right?
What? Yeah. Penn, beating up paparazzi and all kind of trouble.
Salute, Corey. Salute. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a double standard in Hollywood. We know that for sure. But we got a lot of topics that we're going to cover. Mostly, we're going to talk about Dr. Doom, why Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is the best thing for Marvel right now. It's the best thing for the MCU. Why it's gonna work, why it can be comic accurate and not crazy, and why why the guy who's known as Tony Stark playing Doctor Doom might actually be dope. We're gonna cover all of that, among other things. But let's see. Well, before we kick that off, check this out. Did you see the new Daredevil? Sorry, Deadpool and Wolverine Colossus figure? Marvel Legends just
No,
put this joint out. Ooh, I can't
no, I
wait.
would like to have a Colossus figure. That'd be dope. I'll add that
Look
to
at that,
my.
mother. You know, you
Oh,
know,
that's hard. That's hard. Oh, that's
Legacy
a
Edition.
legacy collection. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah,
That means it's a lot more detail. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah. It's like a
hard.
build a figure. It's like a build a
Yeah,
figure. You got a wallet and shit. Yeah, he got two heads. He got two hands. There he is, looking at his passport, his X-Men book, whatever it is. Um, Super dope Colossus figure. Just got the Juggernaut and Colossus 2-pack that is on the way. So that I cannot wait to unbox for y'all.
so he look
And
dope right
before,
there, man.
yeah, I mean, this
What
is
is,
crazy.
what does he
Oh,
read?
it's
What
a
does he read?
Bible.
X Men lore? Oh, it's a
It's a
Bible.
Bible. It's a
Oh, that's
Bible,
right.
but
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I
He is.
think it's a
I
Bible.
forgot.
Yeah, because he's not.
He's like religious or a pacifist or something like
Well,
that.
he's not like
Nah,
Nightcrawler, but
nah.
let me I can't see. I thought it said a Bible. I thought it said Bible verse or something like that, but no, it's no something ever. No telling, no lying, and no killing. Oh, no killing anyone. Rule 2, no killing anyone ever. Rule 1, label everything in the refrigerator. uh, and then we have a bit of an unboxing of our own. But I don't know if I'm gonna do this on this show. I think I'll probably do a video. Look at him. The Cabal. This new Doom is wicked dope. Wicked dope. Hella
That dude is
detail.
hard.
Fucking
That dude is
comes with
hard.
a
I like that.
unhooded head. Yep. And then Iron Patriot. Osborn, Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot, the villainous Cabal, and I'm loving this Taskmaster, bro. This is Taskmaster, by the way, y'all. Not that crap they had in the fucking Black Widow movie. This is
In the MCU.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, yeah, man. Not the
MCU.
MCU version. This is the Marvel version.
I mean, it's peak. It is peaky peaky. And then this, like, I'm equally excited about. This is a fucking dope. That last Luke Cage they did, y'all, in the classic costume was utter trash. The damn neck and head was a different color than his chest. I mean, they couldn't match the browns. It was horrible. This dude, obviously, I'm going to use the screaming face because that looks wicked. And then you see he's got the Luke Cage 4-finger rings on his fists. So those will be on there, and you can see his belt buckle says Cage in high detail. And then Iron Fist in his classic Iron Fist costume, which is cool as fuck. Marvel Legends has not done one, so it's awesome to have that classic Iron Fist and the new Luke Cage. Hella cool. So I'll probably do an unboxing and review upon those upon the do that tomorrow. Um
Yeah, so for right
yeah,
now, let's get to Infamous Iron Man.
you want to get into the Doom thing now? Because I got little side shit we can cover. You want to
No,
jump into it?
let's
Let's jump into it.
let's just cover it. It makes no
Let's
difference.
dive in. Let's
Makes no
dive in.
difference. Makes no difference. Dive in.
Well, Marvel has several ways to make Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Doctor Doom, whether it's Doctor Doom, whether he's a multiversal variant of Doctor Doom that looks like Tony Stark, whether it's a multiversal variant where Tony Stark is Doctor Doom, or whether Robert Downey Jr. uses his amazing acting chops, wears a mask the whole time, and you can barely recognize his voice, and he just is Victor Von Doom. which is what I kind of actually hope for, which is probably the farthest fetch that they probably won't do. They'll probably do something where Doctor Doom, it's either going to be he's a variant or it's something where Tony Stark becomes Doom in the comics. I I don't think I'm lucky enough for Robert Downey Jr. to play Victor Von Doom. And I know a lot of people are like, why is that that's what I hope happens, bro. Like I really want to see Robert Downey Jr. play Victor Von Doom. I don't give a fuck that he was Tony Stark. You know why? Because Captain America was Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, yeah.
I got a list. I had a
Said
list. There's a fucking list. There's like 7 or 8 Marvel actors that have played multiple characters in the MCU. Now, there's a lot of reasons why Robert Downey Jr. is the one they chose, and I do not think that they should do that anymore or keep doing it or if this is a success. I know a lot of people are afraid that if this is great and works and they pull it off and it's great, that the business people over there are going to think, oh well, that worked, let's do more and just bring everybody back, stupid shit like having, Hugh
I can
Jackman
tell
can
you,
play Magneto or something, right? That's
you,
not
you
gonna
know what I think they're gonna do, Reno.
you don't have to
I
worry
think
about
they
it.
took a page out of I think they took a page out of Star Trek's book, where Star Trek has used the same actor to play multiple characters in the show.
Mhm.
Like take for instance,
I mean, yeah, they've
Data,
been doing
Brent Sprinter, which is Data. He's played
it. Mhm.
multiple actors in makeup and out of makeup.
Right.
William Riker, he played Thomas Riker. They look the same. They are the same, but
Right.
they said it was, they spun it like it was a transporter accident, split him in it, and it was just two different Rikers. They
Yeah.
were the same, but they were different. So, however
Well,
they do it, but I think they're gonna follow the infamous Iron Man route and just put
mhm.
their own little twist on it, and then that's what we're gonna have. Or, like you said, a multiversal version of Doom that looks like Tony Stark. But
Mhm.
since this is the MCU and we've never seen Doom, I could even go as far as saying let's just say for instance Tony Stark never takes off the mask. Let's just say Robert Downey never takes the mask off. He's
Right.
Victor Doom the way he is in the comic, never takes off the mask and plays the part. I
Or
mean,
or when he does have the mask off, he's covered in an inch layer of makeup, scarred, disfigured face makeup. So
could be. Yeah.
he's either got the disfigured face, which is why Doom wears the mask, and we see that, and then we see, but it would be really cool if we saw the gnarled, disfigured face, but only through like a shadow, like in the shadows in a darkened room. You can only see like half, and it's poorly lit, and you only see him from behind as he's turning around, putting on the mask, and you get a glimpse, barely even a glimpse, and he puts the mask on. That's it. From then on, it's the fucking mask and his, amazing acting ability, doing whatever voice he wants to do. I mean, we know he could do voices you won't even know it's him, straight up.
Mhm.
Um,
Or maybe they'll do like a Bane. They'll do like a Bane thing, but it'll sound like, yeah, Doctor Doom has that,
yeah, I
that
mean,
that robot type,
he's Latin
or like Ben
American.
Affleck with the thing he did with his voice, with the microphone and we don't
Mhm.
know. That's why I'm so excited for it because I want to see what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
That's where the excitement comes. We didn't expect that at Comic Con, and when they brought
Mm-mm.
him out and showed him, it blew everybody's mind. So, however, like I said, I don't know if they're gonna do the infamous Iron Man, but there is um an alternate universe, a what if, and I think there's an ultimate where
Yeah,
the
what
roles
if?
are reversed. Where the roles are reversed. With Tony
There
Stark, there
were
is a what if where Tony Stark was Doom. He did
yeah,
rule Eternia. So
yeah,
I
and Doom
mean,
was Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah,
They
yeah,
Victor Von Doom and Tony Stark were in college together, roommates. See, Doom was like he really looked up to Tony in a way. Well, he first he didn't like Tony. Tony was like kind of wild and partyish, and Doom was a very very serious about his books. And Tony
yeah.
was
He was,
kind of
yeah,
but they end up switching roles, and you have Iron Man in all green and gray instead of red and gold, and then you have Doctor Doom where he's all wearing red with gold armor, and so it's like their color way switches, and so but that's how you denote the two. It's really cool, but it's a one off. It's a one shot. I don't I personally don't think it's the story they're gonna do. I don't think so. I don't think that's. But
Nah.
if they did, it'd be just an origin or something like that. But towards the end of Avengers: Infinity War, Doctor Strange sits down, right, and he uses his powers to look into 14,605 possible futures in their conflict against Thanos, and he sees only one path to victory. Now, after watching Deadpool and Wolverine over the weekend and catching up on all the Marvel Studio news out of San Diego Comic-Con, I too have looked into 14,605 potential possibilities to see if Marvel can stick the landing of one of these most recent mixed in quality phases. And just like Doctor Strange, I've come down to the conclusion that there is one path that leads to victory, just like Doctor Strange handing the time stone over to Thanos. Marvel may have to relinquish its biggest trump card to pull it off with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, little spoilers and whatnot upcoming for any Deadpool and Wolverine that you haven't seen. So if you haven't seen, rather, little spoiler alert for Deadpool Wolverine. But so Marvel has to use the Secret Wars 2015 version as the backbone of its Avenger movies, rather than the original Secret Wars, which is just ass. It's not ass, but it's compared to now. Comic writing was never really great until more recently. More in the 90s, it got better, and in the
Yeah.
80s had some good graphic novels and shit. In the 90s, it got good, but in the 2000s, it's gotten really into its
It's gotten
literature.
really, really, yeah,
It's literature,
yes,
but
I agree.
2015 Secret War, far better than the original. And this step is the one that I'm most confident that Marvel Studios is going to take based on the direction that it's been moving its multiversal plot. But it's also not something that has been explicitly confirmed, or anything. But to confuse things further, at the Comic-Con panel, Joe and Anthony Russo, the Russo brothers, alluded to Secret Wars being inspired by the original comic book crossover from the mid '80s, and he said, Joe Russo said, he said, it's the first comic book I read as a kid that made me fall in love with comics, and it's the reason that Anthony and I are standing up here. So, and I just want to say, the Russo brothers, say what you want about, they might not be Martin Scorsese or whatever, um, but these guys love what they're doing. They love comics, right? They love the characters. So basically, the polar opposite of the people that made Acolyte, right? Instead of having disdain and resentment for the stuff that they're making, they actually love it. So it will reflect, and that's why going back to them is the best thing for Marvel, for the MCU right now. Um, but back to Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars it's a very basic story, as the comics were back then, very basic, not much, it's very simple. And it had a character known as the Beyonder, who was teleporting all of Marvel's heroes and villains onto a planet called Battleworld to duke it out gladiator style, right? And it was literally only invented to boost Marvel toy sales. That's the only reason Marvel did this. It was a toy thing, mostly the creation of Mattel. And that being said,
Mm,
it is iconic as the first major crossover event in comic book history. Something that now dominates superhero stories of both DC, Marvel, every publisher, and both comics, movies, shows, everything. So, Secret Wars is, it's very important. But in 2015, Secret Wars was rebooted, I guess you could say, returned as the brainchild of prolific comic book writer, my favorite comic book author, Jonathan Hickman. And I've always been saying, man, if Marvel just would fucking make some Hickman stories in the MCU, they'd be they'd be golden. And I think we're gonna
they are.
finally get that. Now
Yeah, they are.
I hope they do the same thing with Fantastic Four. If they do the Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four, we're really in for a good fucking time, because that's where Franklin Richards makes fucking pocket universes under his sheets at night. I mean, it's crazy. It's really a phenomenal like story. It's the only Fantastic Four story I've ever and would ever read. Um, hope if we get that, we're blessed. Even with that casting, but I'm not sure that's going to happen because of the background or the the setting of the Fantastic Four movie, it being in the past, like 60s, postmodernistic, whatever. But the after setting up the event across the runs on both Fantastic Four and the Avengers comics, Hickman had the Marvel multiverse collapse in on itself, only to be saved last minute by none other than Doctor Doom, who made a patchwork planet, kind of reminiscent of Battle World in the first one, of all the different universes, and he ruled it as God Emperor Doom. So when you see Doom in all white, you've seen it. I got the figure there where he's holding a spine that he ripped out. Um, that's God Emperor Doom. That's from Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars, and it's widely regarded as the best Marvel crossover comic ever done. And if you've been keeping up with the MCU since Endgame, you can see how its multiverse saga has the ability to result in an adaptation of Hickman's Secret Wars, because they can do whatever they want. And unlike Star Wars, for example, they're not going to keep just doubling down on the nonsense we see now with Wolverine and Deadpool, and this new news with the Russo brothers and the writers from Cap and Doom or Downey and all that, that they're not going to just continue to double down on the nonsense that has been, killing the company, killing the franchise. So they've made decisions to listen to us and make some changes that actually make sense. Which, it's why Downey, it's a listen, I want to be clear. If the MCU was at its peak and doing great right now, and every movie since Endgame was a fucking slam dunk, just like every movie before Endgame, have that be the case, and they did this, I'd be like, what? Are you fucking stupid? It's the dumbest thing you could ever do. Horrible idea. But that's not the world we live in, right? This is the world we live in, where Eternals and Love and Thunder and the Marvels and all the crappy ass shows. That's where we're at. The MCU, like, so.
And Marvel just didn't take their time to realize what they had and keep making it better, or just keep drawing the fans in. That's the whole goal. You just want to keep drawing in the fans. You don't want to draw in a certain group of people, and then piss off everybody else. You want to draw everybody in. That's what makes Star
You
Wars
want to
so
draw in
great.
comic fans,
You're
and the
drawing
comic
everybody.
fans will bring everybody in. If you try to appease everybody, you get bullshit.
Right.
But
They just got to get back on track, man. Deadpool was good, and it's a step in the right direction. And they should learn something from it. They should learn that you
it
know
is.
people want what you already gave us. We just want better stories, more stories. I mean, we don't want all this you know swapping characters with females. The females are better, and then you just pushing. Like, I don't know, man. We could have
That's
got so
God
much
done.
stuff. Yeah, dope. Yeah, we could have got so much more had they just been creative, like you always say. Write better stories, get creative. It's just so much it could have been done, and it just was wasted. So,
Yep. Yep.
just the
Just
one,
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 just one fucking way.
one.
No, and there's more to this, because we've got the Ultimates #4 coming out in September. Now, if you notice there, that's Doctor Doom's mask, and you see a stretchy long mouse coming out of his eyeball. You notice that's a little rock mouse up in the
That's the
foreground, a
thing.
little
That's a
orange
thing,
thing.
mouse.
Uh-huh.
You
And
see
you
an
see Johnny
invisible
Storm up
mouse.
on top and the
You see
invisible in
Johnny
the back.
Storm mouse. Yeah.
That's right. So
You
that's
see the
Dr.
Sue
Doom.
Richardson. You see the Sue Richardson right there in the back by the mouth, the
Yep.
invisible
Yep.
mouse.
Right. Right. And the way back. And that's Doom experimenting on mice to recreate the Fantastic Four. Of his, to make his own Fantastic Four. But if you've been keeping up with the MCU, like I said, since Endgame, you can see how this, multiverse saga does help. It does give them like I said, I wouldn't want them to do this the way they've been doing it, but since they have the multiverse saga, it's a good thing because they can now change lanes, change directions, and pivot. Otherwise, if they didn't have the multiverse saga, obviously they'd be stuck in whatever story they wrote themselves into. They don't have to do that because they happily are in a place, and I think it was on purpose. I think they were experimenting with their MCU agenda, and they knew, let's do it in this universe where if it doesn't work out, we can flip back and no one will be the wiser. But the multiverse saga, obviously Jonathan Hickman's whatever, his Doom, his Avengers, and Secret Wars and his Fantastic Four are not part of the multiverse saga, but they're going to use them because they have the multiverse saga and it allows them to. But despite the clear, connective tissue, the Russo brothers, even before they were revealed to be the directors of the movie, have only ever referred to the original Secret Wars in past interviews about them potentially returning to the MCU. They've never referenced Hickman's Secret Wars or anything. But the fact that Doctor Doom is going to play a major part in the story of the next two Avengers movies doesn't narrow things down exactly. I mean, because Doom is there in both iterations of Secret Wars. He does play a pivotal role, but he's far more relevant in Hickman's story. In the original story, it's about the Beyonder. Doom is there, but Beyonder's the guy, doing everything. He's the big bad. In Hickman's story, it's Doom. Doom is the big bad. Doom is God Doom. He's all in white, just like the Beyonder was. I mean, that's why, it's much more likely that if you're going to do something with Doom being being the big bad, it's got to be this story where Doom is the big bad. So, if I was a betting man, I would say that Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars will be an amalgamation of both the 80s and the 2015 Secret Wars. Because the
Mm,
Russo brothers love the 80s one, but I think the 2015 one, they have to admit, is a much better story for modern movies, even just movies, period, as a movie medium. The original one, it's just not really there. It's
yeah.
it's very basic and kind of boring.
Or they might,
Uh,
or they might just pull from.
for a
They
movie.
might just pull from both and come up
Yeah,
with
that's
something
what I'm
new.
saying. An
Yeah,
amalgamation of the two.
yeah, and we're cool with that. As long as it's
Yeah,
well written and well acted, we'll be good. We'll
yeah.
be good. And for
Now,
those, and for the people that have a problem with it, think about it. We had a problem with Michael Keaton being Batman, but he's the best Batman we ever saw. We had a problem with Ben Affleck being Batman, but he's a good Batman. We had a
you're right.
problem with Robert Pattinson being Batman, but he was a good Batman. So
The
it doesn't
Batman
make a
and
difference. As
yeah,
long as as long as you do a good
Batman rule.
job, right, with the character, we gotta use the Batman rule. Give him a chance to see what happens. We can't say anything until we see the finished product.
Right, right, right. Yep. That's it. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Let's see what happens because there's a lot of ways this could work and it could be really cool and be really beneficial for fans of Doctor Doom and the comics. It's gonna be more about, a more comic related, just like, Wolverine and Deadpool was like, you know what, let's put the mask on. When Wolverine throws that mask on and goes berserk, that's not even Hugh Jackman. It's like a CGI. That's strictly fucking for fans of Wolverine. But I digress. It's quality might be in question, talking about the original Secret Wars, but it did give us the most important creative decisions in all of comic books, which is Spider-Man getting the black symbiote suit. That's that's from the original Secret Wars. So them
Yeah,
doing Secret Wars, and we know Spidey looks like was gonna maybe be. I think he's gonna be getting the black suit in the fourth one. That's what I think it's gonna be about, based on what we've seen so far. That's a little my little prediction, but it fucking
Mm,
really tracks and really stands the reason now that we know they're doing the Doom, know they're doing the Secret Wars, which is where Spider-Man gets his black suit.
mm. And hopefully
So,
they do it.
and I'd be shocked if that moment doesn't make it to the screen. Shocked. There's no way.
Yeah,
Not with
because
what's not with what.
it was a
Well,
big
yeah,
part of Secret Wars. Yeah, it was a
yeah.
big part of Secret.
Well,
I mean, not for the story, but for the fans. It was a
yeah,
big part
yeah,
of Secret Wars.
yes. Right,
Seeing
right,
that
right,
black suit,
right.
because it was for me. I remember as a kid when we saw the comic, we were like, "Yo, is that Spider Man?" Like we were like, our jaws was on the floor for days.
Oh
And
yeah,
then when they came out with the, like you said, the toy line, Marvel did have a toy line back then that they were trying to push, and they bought out that black suit Spider Man, and we went crazy over it. So
yeah,
you know, Black Suit Spider Man, like you said, came out in Secret Wars. It was a big thing for the fans.
yeah.
So to not give it to the fans now would be a disappointment because Secret Wars and Black Spider Man go together like peanut butter and jelly.
And yeah, and that's one of those aspects that I think they should definitely take from the original Secret Wars. But if these movies are going to really be a success, I mean, Avengers: Secret Wars has a far better chance of being a critical success the more it borrows from Hickman's take on Secret Wars. Hickman's Secret
Right?
Wars is the one that translates. And Marvel has to nail the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, which has to have Doctor Doom. I think he's gonna pop into the end credit scene or mid credit scene or whatever. I think it's gonna be all about Galactus and the Four, and I think at the very end we'll see Doom. And like I said, I was hoping that it would be something like, we see him from behind and we kind of come around it and we kind of pan around a dark shadow covered face and you could tell it's completely disfigured. You can't recognize it. And as it would, come into view, that's when the mask comes over and fucking that's like just what I imagine. That would be sick as fuck. But and
It
if that
would
happens,
be. Yeah.
that's crazy. But yeah, Marvel, the MCU's iteration of Fantastic Four is an important film for Marvel for multiple reasons. But with the current state of the MCU, which is the whole fucking point here, it might end up being the studio's most important film ever, which is
Mm.
why, yes. Now, one of Deadpool and Wolverine's best jokes is when Deadpool calls for an end to the multiversal storytelling, right? He said, starting that, he said it had been miss after miss after miss, um, and you know the multiversal shenanigans in the Deadpool movie even fuck it up a little bit. At least made it the messiest of the trilogy. But it's a beautiful mess. It's fucking made my day, bro. That movie made my year. Everything because it showed me that the MCU can still exist and that people making Marvel movies can still make good ones. Because honestly, I've lost faith in that. And Wolverine and Deadpool has restored that faith. It at least tells me that they know how to do it. We don't know if they're going to continue. We don't know if this was a one-off thing. We don't know if Fantastic Four is going to be more nonsense. We can look at the cast and know they didn't cast it because those are the best people for the roles. They cast Pedro Pascal because he's hot and he's popular. That's his. It's not because he makes the great Reed Richards because he doesn't. But
Yeah.
the other, yeah, I mean the whole cast, it's questionable. The Thing casting, I think, is an interesting casting, so I think that'll be funny. I can't wait to see that how that goes. But man, I'm telling you, bro, First Steps has to really hit because everyone is like watching them right now. This is gonna be the determining factor. But where Wolverine and Deadpool or Deadpool and Wolverine works best outside of the quips and one-liners and shit is with its very, I think, surprisingly emotional core that had me a little choked up, had my eyes welling up as we approach the credits. And an emotional core, in some ways, quite literally, is the heart of Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. most of Hickman's stories, and it's formed between Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. Um,
Mm.
yes, this is from that book. But yeah, by the time we're dead, but by the time, the 2015 iteration of Secret Wars came around, years and years of storytelling that pitted Reed Richards and family against Doctor Doom had laid the emotional groundwork that made the crossover event the spectacular graphic novel that it is. Sure, it was cool to see the thing turned into a Game of Thrones esque wall that held back the zombie horde, and the spin-off comic featuring Thors from across the multiverse as Battle World cops was a highlight of all of all the tie-in storylines. But my passion for Secret Wars 2015 stems mostly entirely from the conflict between Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. And I won't get into it here, but if you haven't read the comic, do so. It's top on my fucking recommendation. Hickman's Avengers is fucking one of the best comic books. Period. The storyline, it's
Mm.
absolutely, the Illuminati's in there, bro. It's fucking, and just know that it's some of the best writing that the comic medium has ever featured. And that's why, if the story is indeed being adapted to the MCU, the quality of Marvel's Fantastic Four movie is paramount. Now, RDJ hasn't been confirmed to be in the project yet, but it would be incredibly disappointing if he's not, because of all the emotional groundwork to lay, and we're running out of time to do so with Doomsday releasing 2026. So, and Marvel should save its MCU X-Men phase for 7 and later, right? I don't, let's do the damn fucking reboot, right? Let's get shit back to where it was. Let's get the reboot. Let's get it back to the MCU, not the MCU, right? And then we'll talk about the X-Men. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't want the current people that are making Marvel movies touching X-Men. Whoever made the fucking Marvels and whoever made fucking Love and Thunder and fucking the Eternals and all of that shit, bro. I don't want them touching the X-Men. Um, that's just me. Now, when the
Yeah.
film
But
rights,
Reno, they gotta. But Reno, they got. See, they gotta be careful with the X Men because it's
yeah,
they because of what you just said is that because a lot of people are riding that same train that you on, where they're saying, look, this next X Men movie better be the best thing since Pockets on Pants, because if it ain't, they're done. They're gonna be done. I mean, Fox gave us garbage for years,
yeah.
just to keep the franchise, and they didn't want to give it up. So Disney had to buy them in order to get it back. And it's sad, that it had to happen that way. But at the end of the day, the X Men has more fans than the Avengers. There are more X Men fans out there, and most Marvel fans are huge X Men fans.
Mm-hmm.
They read other stuff in Marvel, but they love the X Men. And you wowed us with those first three movies, um, and then you gave us the other ones. They started off good. By the time we got to Dark Phoenix, we were like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Like,
the
what is
the
this?
first class ones are the best ones, but the Dark Phoenix one, the Apocalypse one, those are just tragedies. Um, but yeah, the first class one was phenomenal. The
First
original,
class was good.
the very first ones, the first Fox ones, at the time we fucking loved those movies, and
Yeah, they're hard watch now. Yeah, they're very hard watch.
it's
But you're
just that
right. I love them.
well, I mean, yeah, but if you were a big fan of the comics and you wanted to see the comics on screen, it wasn't that. They
No,
very
it wasn't.
much yeah, they very much made it a movie, right? They those Fox movies were not comic book movies. I mean, you had they weren't, nobody was looking like themselves. Nobody looked how they were supposed to look, and that's what a lot of people's complaints are. But if you weren't a huge comic book reader, which, at the time I wasn't a big reader of comics during those movies. I read comics when I was a kid, when I was a real little kid, like Spider-Man, Spawn, all that shit, 13 years old, 12 years old, in that kind of age range. And then I got back into reading comics. It was 2015, like Jonathan Hickman, basically. So now when the film rights to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men came back to Marvel Studios, right, via Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, they just bought the fucking thing. Now, everyone assumed that a new take on the X-Men would play a pivotal role in Marvel's post-Endgame. We thought that it was going to be Endgame, and boom, they would roll right into that early on. And, here we are 5+ years later, nearing the end of the next trilogy phases, and the only hint that we've had of mutants in the MCU has been from multiversal variants, a brief revelation that Ms. Marvel is a mutant now. That's it. That's it for official shit. And now some may argue that the lack of X-Men has hurt Marvel's prospects in recent years in this last phase. And at this point, the mutant team is a big gun that the studio should save for after Secret Wars. Let Secret Wars cook. Let that be its thing. Let Doom cook. Let all that shit be its own thing. Don't fucking muddy it with the X-Men right now. They need their own, because we all know the X-Men is not a movie. It's a fucking phase. There's X-Men, there's X-Force, there's New Mutants, there's Marauders. There's so many teams. There's fucking X-Men, so many teams, bro, and so many different mutants. I mean, the mutant population is bigger than the superhero population if you count all the fucking mutants. So there's way more to do, and trying to fit that into one of these movies, and also taking the focus away to from these stories is not wise, and it will hurt both. I think it will hurt both the Avengers stuff and the X-Men stuff if they try to do the X-Men now. And the it has to convince audiences once again to commit more commit to this interconnected story thing, because people that aren't fans of comics, I guess, people that aren't into you know having reading a bunch of issues of stuff or whatever, or stuff being interconnected, or knowing lore, they're not into the fact that you have to watch previous projects to understand later projects, right? They don't like that you have to see this movie to get this show, or you got to see that show to understand what's going on in this movie, which it's not totally like that, but they try to make it where, you definitely are missing shit, or you definitely won't catch certain jokes or certain references. So, which I think is a great thing. And it's awesome. It's a cool thing. It's something different that movies didn't usually do. And it's not unlike how Doctor Strange had to give up the Time Stone in order to put the remaining Avengers on the correct path to defeat Thanos, following 5 years of misery with half the world being blipped, and then just returning. But Marvel's put itself in a pretty good position with this, I think. Now they've you understand what I'm saying? They've got a good way out. They've got a good way out now. They've made a good way out. They've created a good out. That's what I'll say. And Secret Wars can feature those multiversal variants, making Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Jackman's Wolverine two of the headlining heroes. And then that movie can serve as the perfect point to have, a near total reboot of the MCU, finally putting RDJ, Hugh Jackman, other veteran Marvel supers to bed, maybe bringing some of the franchise's younger, fresher heroes like Tom Holland's Spider-Man with the black suit in, you know what I mean? Or even Iman Vellani's Ms. Marvel into a completely new universe, kicking off with a fresh batch of mutants, acting as the pillar of the MCU. And that to me feels like a way to keep audiences interested in phase 8 and 9, because there's, several phases to go. And exactly what I'm saying. Secret Wars needs to end the multiverse, and the X-Men needs to be the phase after.
I agree with that.
Fingers
I agree with
crossed.
that.
You know, um, this right here, Brad, would be a perfect fucking world, bro. Oh man, Hickman's Avengers versus X Men or Avengers versus X Men from Hickman's
Mhm.
Avengers. Dog, we should be so lucky, man. I mean, that would just be the fucking end all be all for me, man. Because look, they could do it. They could do the whole thing now with the whole Avengers and the whole thing, and then go do the whole X Men thing. And what are we gonna do for Phase 8? Boom, AVX. Boom. It's too perfect.
Maybe 2030. Maybe 2030. They'll give us that. They'll just bust that out.
My man RDJ says it best. He says, never bet against Feige. And while I don't share his unwavering confidence in Marvel Studios' as Overlord, I do see, how he and his team have set up the building blocks for a compelling end to a very sloppy set of phases. And while Downey's casting as Doom does reek of desperation, there is, there's a way to not only make it work, but make it an engrossing choice, make it fucking dope. That's what people need to realize.
Mm.
Yes, it's desperate. Yes, it's out of left field. Yes, it's crazy. It's a Hail Mary. It's a fucking last ditch. It's a Hail Mary. It is. It absolutely is. If the MCU wasn't in the position it's in, never, never support something. But it is what it is. That's how it is. And it all depends on if Feige, the Russo brothers, uh do what they should do, what they're supposed to do. Um,
Right.
and what they could do. It's all gotta be done right. Yeah, it could be ass, but if I think I think putting out Deadpool and Wolverine, before the news, and all of that, like, because that movie fucking invigorated me. It re-energized me with the MCU, with Marvel and shit, and what could be, right? Because I had lost. I mean, bro, I've been so depressed about the MCU, bro, and not want to see the X-Men anymore, bro. It's just been ass, bro. So
Yeah.
seeing fucking Deadpool and Wolverine recharged me. Um, and so this news now, I take it with an open mind. If I hadn't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, and maybe this is how they got me, but if I hadn't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, I would have no confidence in this plan or any of this shit. I would just be like, nope, yeah, these guys are fucking, they have no idea. But the movie Deadpool and Wolverine proves to me why I see why it was done. It shows to me that they know what, you know what I mean? They made there's certain jokes, certain things. They know what they've been doing wrong. They know how to fix it. So I have faith, a little faith in what their plan is, because I know it can work, and
Yeah.
that's how. But yeah, it can work, and it can work beautifully. It can be really nice. um but I will tell you, if anybody the MCU, which is estimated to have earned Robert Downey Jr. close to $600 million, he's probably going to make more than 80 million for these two films, probably closer to 100 million. It's insane. The
Mm.
Russos are going to get 40 million per movie, with
Mm.
additional box office incentives that will kick in if the two films reach 750 million and a billion worldwide. So they can end up making way more, but yeah, Downey is the fucking absolutely the one who's making the lion's share of the payday on this. So, they're not doing this lightly. This is
Yeah.
not done lightly. Um,
I mean, look at the new Captain America movie. They got
mm,
Rock.
mm,
We don't know who Carlos Posito's character is yet. Um,
mhm, mhm.
but Rock alone solves their problem with Hulk. I mean,
Yep,
there's a lot you can do with Rock that you can't do with Hulk.
yep.
So
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
I mean, it. Man, I really God, I wish Harrison Ford wasn't so old, man.
I just, you know what, I wish
He
they
would be
wouldn't
so
depict.
much.
I wish they wouldn't depict Thaddeus Ross as being like in the movies. They depict him as being so old. Like they always pick these older guys.
Yeah,
I mean, Ross isn't. He's not no spring chicken, but he's
no,
not that old either.
he's
Like
not
he's
a
not like,
geezer. He's not a
yeah, he's
feeble.
not a geezer. Nah, he's never. He's right. And so whenever they play him in the movie, they always pick like the
That's the same thing I felt
oldest.
about Magneto. In the comics, Magneto is fucking
Yeah, and the
bald.
kind. Yeah, yeah, but yeah,
Ian
but they
McKellen,
had Ian McEwen. Yeah, Ian McEwen played him, and I'm like, damn, why
Gandalf.
Magneto gotta be? Yeah, why's he gotta be so old, man? Like, damn, like
Word.
I don't get it,
Magneto got
man.
white hair, but he looks young as fuck.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Now, we got the whole cast for well, no, I'm sorry. We got about 5 of the cast for the Secret Wars revealed. Um, while on stage at the Comic-Con, obviously Kevin Feige informed the crowd that a lot of the Marvel Studios stars who appeared at the Hall H panel would be appearing in Avengers Secret Wars. And, some of the comments that he made were left intentionally vague, but he did single out a few names that would definitely be joining the 2027's movie roster. And the following are all 5 cast members returning for Avengers Secret Wars. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. Um, he said directors Anthony Russo made a comment, return to 5 and 6, Doom referring to him. He said there's one very, very important character that's required to do Secret Wars justice, and it's a character that Marvel has not introduced yet and could be the most important character in all the Marvel universe. And obviously, he's not talking about fucking Kang.
Mm,
Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards. So he will be Reed Richards and will more than likely not only be in Fantastic Four Steps, but will probably be in the Secret Wars movie. Um, it's imperative that he's in the Secret Wars movie if the movie's going to be anything like the comics. It's all about Reed and fucking Doom. So that's what needs to happen. Third person that we know is basically it's the cast of Fantastic Four is all we know. We know Fantastic Four and Doom basically. Fantastic Four, Vanessa Kirby, and Eben Moss is the guy I was thinking of the other day. Eben Moss Bacharach as Ben Grimm. He's the co-star of that show, The Bear.
mm.
Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm. That kid's getting every fucking role. He just did what's the movie where everybody has to be quiet with the monsters?
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place. They just did the sequel, the threequel, the trilogy, and
Yeah,
he was in that.
prequel,
He's in
prequel.
yeah, prequel, yeah. But he's in that. He's in a bunch of shit. He's getting a lot of shit. He's getting put into a lot of different things. Um, so it doesn't surprise me at all. You know. Vincent, what up? Salamentino, salute. Adventures vs. X-Men, but was likely why he didn't have the green light from Iger to pay Russo's and RDJ. But RDJ wouldn't come back unless it was the Russos, and they weren't coming back unless they got the bag. And RDJ playing Doom and switching from Kang to AVX, they're just going to streamline the story. So instead of all this Kang and X-Men loose ends, Doom will come in and conquer all of them and end up like the comics between Reed and Doom. This guy's paying attention. That's exactly what the fuck it is. Yeah. Jonathan Majors was
It's
fucking. He said he was heartbroken over this shit. That because he wants to be Kang. But listen, there's another possibility. Well, there's another thing that they're talking about, and I guess this is more of on the lines of maybe relating to it or being an allegory or being a metaphor for it. But in the upcoming Avenger Ultimates. It's the Ultimate Universe's version of the Avengers. And they've revamped the Ultimate Universe. So if you guys remember, they did the Ultimate Universe back in the day, which is basically what the MCU was based mostly on. I mean, that's why Samuel L. was Fury and all of that, because he
Yeah.
was actually in the comics drawn and looking just like Samuel L. So, but there's a new version for the Ultimates coming out, the Ultimate Universe, that I've already been showing you guys the Ultimate Spider-Man comics I've been reading, and Ultimate Black Panther, and this is the Ultimates. And
Mm.
the writer Dennis Camp promises to explain how Robert Downey Jr. will work as the new Doctor Doom in September's issue.
Oh wow.
So he said. Now, he said that he's going to explain how Doctor Doom, or so he's going to explain how Robert Downey Jr. portrays Doctor Doom in the upcoming Avengers movie Doom World. The Ultimates #4 by Dennis Camp is going to be a crucial, thing, they're saying, to understanding Downey Jr.'s new role as Doctor Doom. And the comic book hints at, Doctor Doom's secret history and experiments with creating a new Fantastic Four using mice. And but we'll I guess we'll have to wait till September 4th for the Ultimates #4 to come out. But I don't know. It is indeed the 4th of September when it comes out. Ultimates #4 with the solicitation reads: the fate of the Ultimate Fantastic Four. Doom's years of torture at the hands of the Maker will finally catch up to him in his secret history of the real Reed Richards, and tensions among the Ultimates when Doom might be more fixated on recreating the life he should have had than the life he's got.
Mm.
The Ultimates,
That sounds. That
yeah,
sounds like a. Mm.
I mean, and it, like I said, it's part of the Ultimate line from Marvel Comics, and it reimagines, a Marvel universe. If an evil version of Mr. Fantastic from another universe had fucked around with time and denied it of all superheroes. So now, the 616, there's no superheroes, or not the 616. I guess that universe is wiped out, and so now it's the Ultimate Universe here, where there's no superheroes. Spider-Man gets bit by the spider and becomes Spider-Man in his 40s because somebody, and I won't give away the story, tells him what happened, tells him that, in this other universe he got bit when he was a kid, and he had this great life, and da da da, he's Spider-Man, blah blah blah. So the comic, so what this means for Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Doctor Doom, and the Fantastic Four, obviously we'll have to wait till we read the comic, but I just think it's interesting that they've made this declaration. And the writer of this comic has said that, this is going to explain why Robert Downey Jr. is Doom. It's interesting to me because this is not this is not Hickman's Secret Wars. Although Jonathan Hickman did set off this Ultimate Universe, and I think he writes the Spider-Man one. But yeah, he definitely wrote the Ultimate, the original, or the what do you call it, the Catalyst issue that started it all. So Hickman's definitely involved in it, but like I said, it's just coming out in September. It's #4. It's a brand new thing. It's not anything to do with the old Secret Wars. So I don't think it's going to tell you like anything to do with the plot.
Mm.
But I think somehow it's going to explain what they're going to do in a way, based on probably what they'll do with Reed and Doom in this. I don't think it's going to literally be Tony Stark and Doom in this, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, we will. And we're very excited for it.
She shall we.
We're very, very excited.
Yes, the new Ultimate
Oh,
one. See what happens when the Maker gets out of the temporal prison that Reed and Tony put him in. I mean, bro, I think I got him right here. Nah, they're behind me. But yeah, it's been a very good run so far. Really cool story. The tie-ins are great. I like what they're doing with it. So it's something new. Um the cover sort of suggests deeper connections between Robert Downey Jr. and Doom's role in Doomsday. Um there's let me show you what I mean. There's another cover that here, I'm gonna take a screenshot of it. There's another cover different than that one with the mice, where it shows the evil Reed Richards, the maker, peeling off his mask to reveal Doctor Doom underneath,
Mm.
like so.
You have an image of that?
Boom. So you see, that's the maker.
Mm.
The head that's on the top, that's the face up on the head. That's the maker, and that's it. The maker is a sort of like a evil Reed Richards, evil version of Reed Richards, and so in this, it's showing that they're one and the same, or somehow Doom is Reed, but yeah, but yeah, that's the new shit that's coming out September, um, and how it relates to Robert Downey Jr., how it relates to him being Doom, we'll have to see. But, it's got Doom there. He's like lifting back his disguise as the maker, the ultimate Reed Richards. And maybe I think it's more of like a symbolic thing, but the Ultimates is part of the Ultimate line from Marvel Comics that reimagines the Marvel Universe. If an evil version of Mr. Fantastic from another universe had fucked with the time and killed all the superheroes and or just made it where they didn't exist and never became superheroes, the people still lived, but they just didn't become superheroes. And had taken that universe's version of Reed Richards and imprisoned him, turned him into Doctor Doom. And so we've seen though, that this Doom has been experimenting with, Fantastic Four and using the mice on the other cover. Um, but we know he's fucking around with creating shit. But what it literally means for Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four in these movies. We will circle back September 4th when I get it. And we will definitely discuss this and dissect it because
Mm.
it's very intriguing. It's very intriguing, and the actual writer for Marvel for the comic is actually claiming that it has to do with or will explain Robert Downey Jr. as Iron
It's
Man,
Doom.
as
All
Doom,
right,
right?
man. It's
As
Doom.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Man,
Yeah,
listen, like I said, whatever they do, just make it good. That's all I ask.
that's all I ask. That's
That's all I
all
ask, man.
I
Just make it good.
need.
Make it something
All
that we
I
can sink our teeth into. Like, everybody's a critic nowadays, and everybody's gonna have something foul to say. But let's just be excited for it and see what happens. Like I said,
Yeah.
the what we
Well,
call
his
it, the Batman syndrome. Let's just wait
the
and
Bat
see.
yeah, the Batman rule.
Yeah, the Batman role. Just wait and see. See what happens because we've been wrong before, and and you got to remember too. You got to remember too, people, everybody out there watching, when they pick these people to do these roles, it's a meticulous thing. Like they go through it and they go through it. Like when people were mad about the black girl playing Ariel and the Little Mermaid, the producers and everybody came on and said, "Listen, she was the best person that auditioned for the role, singing and acting. She was the
And
very
they had
best."
no and they had no
And they had no
pre-intention
choice.
of
They
making
had no pre-intention of making no. They just said, "Look, she's the best one." That's what they picked.
the rest of the movie
I
kind of
watched.
went along with that theme.
I know, man, but I watched it. I watched the on the DVD because I got to buy it because my
Yeah.
family likes Disney. But I had to watch it, and when I watched it. It was what that's what they said it was. They said it was the best thing. She was the best one. That's what they
Well, that's
came up
all
with.
that fucking matters, man. As long as they're picking, the best person for the role. Like this fucking Booster Gold shit, that guy that they picked that they cast to be Booster Gold. I don't care that he's not white and Booster Gold's a blonde white guy. I could give a fuck. I don't like that actor. That why would they pick him? That dude is not funny. He's fucking annoying as shit. Um, he's never been a lead of anything. He's always like a side character because he's not funny. He's not. He's supposedly a comedian. It's dude. He's so annoying to me, bro. But everyone's upset or everyone's talking about, oh, he's race swapped. He's race swapped. Who gives a fuck if he was good for the role? If they're good for the role and they're good at their job and they have skills and talent, that's all we want. We don't care their race, their gender, none of that. We don't care. We're fucking nerds, first of all. Nerds are outcasts. We've always been outcasts. See the shirt? The outcasts. You understand? We've always accepted others because we never been accepted. We were not the accepted crew. It's only recently been cool to be a nerd. Used to not be cool. You used to have to hide that shit. You used to have to hide that shit, bro. I used to have to pretend I didn't fuck with that shit. So you can't tell me, bro. That, yeah. So nah, man. I'm not feeling it. But Robert Downey Jr.'s first Doom appearance has reportedly been revealed, and it's not Avengers Doomsday. Notable scooper tells us, but according to Jeff Schneider, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom will first show up in a separate movie's post-credit scene or mid-credit scene, with Schneider then going to speculate that it could be during 2025's Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. We got Fantastic Four movie coming. Gotta have Doom and Fantastic. Can't have Fantastic Four without Doom. Don't care who the villain is. It could be Mole Man. Still gotta have Doom in there.
you got to because you have to have Victor Von Doom because he's part of the crew. He was down with Reed. They were kids. They were college buddies together. So, but if they switch that storyline and switch the character with Tone, I don't know. I don't think so. But you know, it's exciting news nonetheless. Something will happen. For those looking forward, you know, towards Marvel's immediate future, we should, you know, I think it's finally got promise, and that's all I care about. That's what I'm happy about. The move to do RDJ is a necessary evil. It's a necessary thing that we wouldn't do otherwise, right? And we've got also Harrison Ford lined up to play Thunderbolt Ross, as well as being among the first to confirm Fantastic Four's casting months before it was made official. This guy knows what he's talking about. This guy who's saying, you know, this. So I tend to, you know, take it with a little bit of, you know, trust. But not all of his scoops have come to pass, you know, or have been verified or proven correct. But let's take this one with a Hulk-sized grain of salt. For now, there's, you know, because I think there's no reason for Marvel to come out to confirm or deny the news. But plans change, and of course, you know, change often. But you know, I don't think we'd be really surprised if Robert Downey Jr. shows up in Fantastic Four, even if it's just the credit scene. Because again, you know, the link between Reed and Doom is obvious, given their comic book history. But there's the added, you know, eyebrow raise of the Fantastic Four director telling, you know, one of these magazines that he's had to keep the surprising cast under wraps for a while. So they've known. And you know, were they just keeping the director in the loop, or is it something more? You know, well, I guess we'll, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But we will see. That's one thing is for sure. We shall see. Like Mahershala Ali, man. Even Wesley Snipes came for Mahershala's. He had his back rather, saying not to blame him for the Blade reboot delays. It's not the actor's fault, he said.
It's really not. It's really not. I don't understand why they just didn't use Wesley. Blade ages like a regular human, but he has all the vampiric power. So He still has the
That's why he
speed and
had
the
the.
strength of a vampire. Yeah,
That's
the
why he had
gray
the
and all of
gray.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because he ages like a regular human. That's known.
Hmm.
That's known throughout the
Hmm.
regular. That's the only quality that he doesn't have. That he didn't get from the vampires was that he doesn't age. He ages. That's
Yeah.
it. But in exchange for aging, he can come out in the daytime. That's why they call him the Daywalker. So,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
they could have used him, and it would have been good. It would have made sense, and it would have all came to fruition. But I think that they, Wesley, because he played Blade, and the last Blade movie came out the way it did. I think he's a lot wiser and smarter, and they don't want to deal with that. They want to write what they want to write. They want the actors to just say yes and be automatons. Make
Yeah.
this movie. And let's see how much money we can make. And Wesley will be a little more vocal about it and be like, "Well, look, we're not doing that. We can't do this, and Blade doesn't do that, and I'm not doing it." They don't want
Yeah.
nobody like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think the original, Blade is Blade. I mean, Wesley Snipes is Blade. He's definitely the icon that I know. But I think a lot of rumors have swirled like my man Vincent is saying about the rotating door of writers and directors attached to the film is in part due to Mahershala Ali not being satisfied with the different creators' visions for the script. But I I think we should be thankful for that. I'm just gonna say that because I think that Mahershala Ali is not gonna let himself be part of one of these movies, one of these MCU movies where men are made to look like buffoons, and maybe there's some girl character. I'm sure that they're making Blade's daughter Bloodshed or whatever her name is for the movie. Like I'm sure that they're going to do something where she's better than Blade, or she kind of outdoes him, and like that's how you do it, Dad. That kind of shit. And Merciless like, no, we're not fucking doing that shit. Like, we're not gonna do that shit. Like, no, not my shit, not Blade. And thank God. Like, yes, good. Please be fucking diligent. Do not let them do that shit. Because don't you always ask? I always ask, like, when actors get put in ass movies and fucked up shit, like, why did you do that? You let yourself be in that movie. You accepted that script, right? You said those lines. You
Mhm.
fucking went to the fuck what caught, so hey man, he's being discerning. Now if he's just being like a prima donna, I don't think he's being like uh I need more FaceTime. Like like I don't think that's what he's doing. I don't
Nah,
think
I heard this. I heard this. I heard it's a little bit of everything. Some stuff is creative differences. Some
well
stuff is the
Wesley.
script that then having to be rewritten.
Yeah.
uh, and some other things. And it's just he's like sitting on the sidelines, like, all right, are y'all gonna get this together so we can get it done, or what? And they're saying that it's been so long that he's just gonna leave because he has the things he has to
Mhm.
do. He has other movies he's supposed to be in
Yeah.
or make, and this is holding him up. And
Yeah.
he can't be sitting in limbo waiting for them to get this script and this production together
You will.
to play Blade when you could have just called Wesley to do all that, and we could have kept it moving.
Yep. Yep. He will eventually get another job, another show, another movie, whatever, and be like, listen, y'all ain't getting it. Y'all ain't doing, what the fuck you need to do. You know what you're doing wrong. Stop coming back to me with these same fucking bullshit stories with the same bullshit. Like, we're not doing that. Like, we need quality writing. We need a decent show with a script that makes sense. And Blade is the tough guy in the fucking show. Okay. Wesley Snipes said, I shouted him out, told him he's got all my blessings and support. I even referenced the fact that some of the challenges they're facing now with this project, I know, and it should not be accredited to him. Talking about Mahershala. He said it's not the actor's fault. There's a lot more that goes on with pulling this Blade stuff off. You need a lot of secret sauce to do the Blade thing, man. Good luck. You're my man, though. And Wesley Snipes led the franchise back in 1998 with the first movie Blade. He did Blade 2 in 2002, did Blade Trinity in 2004. with Ryan Reynolds, who they famously did not get along, famously fucking hated each other. So it was dope to see Wesley pop up in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's for sure. But he said, I don't think it was possible. I didn't think we would be able to pull it off. I didn't think that Marvel was into it. Disney was into it, also because they had Mahershala cast for the next upcoming version of it. Because he's talking about
Mm.
them doing another Blade, and I guess he's still going to be involved, even though he's not playing Blade in some way. He's still like right up involved in all of it. And he added that, multiple other Blade projects have been considered in the past, but were never greenlit. He said, over the years, we've had very interesting conversations, some of them very substantive and some of them not. He said, so I said, I kind of resided that I was moving on from them, which is okay. I did 3 of them and I thought they turned out pretty good, not so bad. We move on to other things and bigger and better things as well. And that's what he said. That's what he said, because obviously he lived those 3 movies. That was a decent chunk of his life. Well,
Yeah, and his career.
it was like 5, 6, yeah, but a major part of his career for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But he said
Not Passenger
congratulations
51 or Blade.
and salam. Yeah. Oh, he said congratulations and salam to Mahershala Ali, a beautiful and talented artist whose expressions I look forward to experiencing for many years to come. Inshallah, we will someday work together. Um, Most importantly, to my loyal fans, the incredible outpouring of love is overwhelming. I'm grateful for never-ending support. So, not fret, not worry. It's not the end of the story. Welcome to the Daywalker Clique. Um, he deemed Mahershala Ali as a talented actor who appreciates the craft and the art form of acting. But at the end of the day, his performance is not a microcosm. It is not by itself. The production, the other actors, the other producers, and creators have to all gel together for the film to work. So we wish them well. Go for it. Good luck. Um, Mahershala told Entertainment Weekly that he was still encouraged by how Blade development was going along and that the film would resume production relatively soon. He said Blade is still set for November 2025, despite
Mm.
it still, uh,
We'll
the
see.
recent exit of director Yan Damage, Yan Damang, whatever his name is. Yeah. Before him, it was Bassam Tariq and the screenwriters Stacy Osesi Kuffour and Michael Green were some of the different people who their ideas didn't get the green light.
Yeah.
But Blade, yeah, it is what it is, man. If it happens, fucking bonus. If it doesn't at this point, like I've just like Wesley said, I've kind of given up. I've stopped caring. You've stopped caring. Thunderbolts,
Somebody.
my God, has confirmed a major change to the Winter Soldier, the trailer. The sort of the look that Winter Soldier had is a little different. The Thunderbolts was one of 3 films featured by Marvel Studios during the Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con Saturday night. The director, Jake Shearer, and the Thunderbolts cast was on hand at San Diego Comic-Con, and those in the audience, got to see first the Thunderbolts footage, um, a little bit of it, and it's sort of an oddball team of heroes. It's very much Suicide Squad type of vibe. It's the same idea. It's gonna be that kind of movie. But with Marvel characters. You got Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier and shit. Falcon the Winter Soldier, that little crew, they're gonna um build off that movie rather. But the description of the footage, because we don't have the actual footage that they had on the screen at San Diego Comic-Con, revealed that Winter Soldier will be back to wearing his hair long following Avengers Endgame, we saw he had cut his hair short for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier movie, but it appears that his original look from the original from the first movies is returning. So they are doing more to go back to the original vibes of the original MCU. And right now we have only a description of the footage to go off of. So I will, get the footage and images and shit like that as soon as that shit becomes available. But that movie, I don't know, man. Thunderbolts, that's one of those movies it could be great and it could really suck. Um, and it's if you told me like rather I say if Wolverine and Deadpool hadn't happened and the pivot to Russo brothers and all of that shit and they weren't doing that, I was before that happened, I was like, yeah, Thunderbolts is gonna be trash. I now think that they may make the necessary changes to make it fucking, a good movie. The actors are good.
Yeah,
Characters are
they're
good.
gonna have to. Yeah, they're gonna have to. I mean, right now Marvel has to do
Some
something.
of them are good, I would
If
say,
DC
yes.
and then
Fact.
if DC because James Gunn just wrapped up. He said he just put out a tweet the other day. It was yesterday or Monday where he said they just wrapped up filming Superman. It's done. So I guess now it's editing and everything else. So the shooting part is done. They knock it out the park with this Superman movie. Marvel has to knock it out the park with anything else they do because now their back is against the wall. There's somebody else making better superhero movies than you, and people are gonna flock that way. They're gonna be like, well, you guys have been putting out these ass movies for long, so we're good. We'll just go over here and get on the gun train, and we'll keep it moving.
That's it, man. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's gonna be. But I know you gotta go, man. You gotta go fight crime, and we gotta call it a night. We're gonna wrap it up tonight, but we'll be back, you guys, Saturday for DC Power Hour. Um, you know, today we dug into all the reasons why Downey as Doom is gonna be dope. Next Wednesday, if Raw Talk is here, we're gonna go into why it's gonna be whack.
That's gonna be a very interesting conversation.
Oh,
I'm all
believe me,
ears. I'm
absolutely.
all ears for that one.
It always is. But we'll be here, man. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys Saturday for DC Power Hour. Have a good week, man. We'll see you then. Be safe. Love each other and all of that good stuff. Peace.
Peace.